command for a moral and ethical life. Opposite conduct leads one away from God. Believe in him and his prophet, which is Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, or Zoroaster. Okay, the the Western philosophy, which majority there may be more sub set of all these philosophy. Okay, but in general, okay, Abraham is the father of the nation. All everybody believes in Abraham, whether it is Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. Abraham is the father of the nation. I wanted to emphasize one thing. The God, the concept of God, whether it is the Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, it is the same God. The God is not different. Only the prophet is different. Okay? God is the same. It is a one God. So whether you call the God of Jewish people or God of Christians or God of Islam, it is the same God they are talking, not each one different God. Okay? But the prophets are different, which is the Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Zoroaster, whoever it is. Okay? That's the one you have to keep in mind all the time. It is not a different God. Eastern religion, virtuous conduct, moral living, and right belief are the foundation of spiritual progress. Unrighteous thoughts, words, and deeds keeps one from liberation. Very, very simple. If you look into it, both conduct and virtue of Eastern and Western, you wouldn't find a dime a difference in the sense. Okay, look at the other one. It is the first step towards higher mystical communion. The liberation requires knowledge and personal attainment, not only the belief. You got to keep in mind this one. This is the most important one. It is not like belief system. You got to practice it. Okay? Unless and until you practice it, without that, it's not going to help you anything, because that's where the rubber hits the road. All right? So conduct and virtue, it means liberation requires knowledge and personal attainment, not only belief. Western religion origin. Religion is a historical, beginning with a prophet or the event. That's how the religion begins. Okay, and we know many stories, from Bible or from Muhammad. Islam, or in the beginning, like Old Testament. Stress is on the past and the future rewards or punishment. They they use this technique. Either you give them the past, stress is putting on the past, or in the future rewards. Okay, how difficult suffering on the past and what will be the future reward. History is linear, never to be repeated. Eastern religion is cosmic, eternal, and transcends cyclical human history. Our human history is always cyclical. Okay, it's like we have 6 eras. It start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then again 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a cyclical. Same thing what Hinduism. Okay, now it's a Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yugas, Kali Yuga, Satyug. These are the 4 yugs. It's a cyclic. and it's continuously revolving. Okay. So this is how they view the world. This is the Western world, people looking into their world. Okay. Because they are born and brought up and raised in a different cultural environment. Reality. Western, the soul is immortal, deathless, and eternal. Okay. With the same thing, Eastern is the soul is immortal, deathless, and eternal. The same phenomena, the same basic things. Okay. There is more to reality than the things of this world. Ultimately, the soul is living forever in God's presence or separated from Him in the hell, whichever we look at it on the Western. Eastern, the soul is same immortal, deathless, and eternal. There is more to reality than we experience it with the five senses. Ultimately, the soul is liberated from the death and rebirth cycle. So look at it, their ultimate goal and the practice, how they are doing it. Doctrine. Western doctrines tend to be simple, clear, and rational. Because whatever is written in the book, that's what you practice. It's very clear and rational. Okay. In that sense, it is written, it's God's word, simple. Other parts are endured, but not totally honored. It is exclusive. Eastern doctrines tend to be subtle, complex, and even paradoxical. You know, the word paradoxical means you say something and on the next statement, no, you do the opposite of that statement. That's a paradoxical. It is very, very, and the things are, we are dealing with complex human mind, very complex human mind. Our human mind is very, very complex. Why I am saying in that one, that human mind, can you quieting down your own mind? He said, this is my mind. And here I'm talking about bhavaman, your thought process. Okay, it's your thought process. Can you stop thinking? It is like impossible task for ordinary people. I'm talking here. It's impossible task. To quieting down the mind, it took Bhagavan Mahavir 12.5 years. And during that sadhana kal, what did he do? He took only 349 times food, just one meal a day, 349, just one meal. He did not sleep, only 48 minutes. In 12.5 years, can you imagine what Bhagavan Mahavir tried to do? Awareness. Can he remain aware? So he, for 12.5 years, no, if you tell somebody, even they can, no, it's impossible. That's what the Bhagavan Mahavir's life, that's what we have portrayed it. Okay? That he just learned to be fully aware about yourself. Even in sleep, Bhagavan Buddha used to be fully aware. He is sleeping. Can you believe? Just look at it. The spiritual people at the highest level of the spirituality, You are fully aware that you are in sleep. Okay, and that's what the Bhagwan Mahavir tried for 12, and ultimately he attained that. And that's the time we call it Keval Jnana. Now his mind is completely quieting down. Because the definition of the mind, I think I told you once, okay, is a rate of flow of thought is a mind, not the Dravyaman. Okay? I'm talking the Bhavaman, the thought that arises in your mind. That thought that arises in mind, if you keep it quiet, those thought process, then it is called amani dasa, because the mind don't exist. If your mind is quiet, the mind disappears. That is all what I consider it, okay, paradoxical in a sense that I want to quieting down my mind, but instead of quieting down, I lost the mind. It wasn't there to begin with. Okay, when it wasn't there to begin with, that's what it's happened. And that's what we do. Meditation is that process. Every Eastern religion follows it because that's the ultimate goal. Only through meditation you are going to quieting down the mind, or you are going to reach the state of amani dasha. State of amani dasha. Now, if there is no mind, means there is no past, there is no future. What do you have? If you are not only awareness, that is the point I'm trying to bring it out, that it is when you keep your thought process steady, just nothing else, there is no vibration. Because when you thought the process, okay, in the thinking, you are vibrating. And only because of the vibration, you are acquiring the karma. If you don't have the vibration, if you don't have a thought, then there is no karma. And if there is no karma, you are liberated. That's very simple process. But it took even deterministic person like Bhagavan Mahavir or Bhagavan Buddha. Bhagavan Buddha took 6 years. Okay? When he attained finally, realize it. These are the kind of the situations you are dealing with. And all previous things what we are doing, it is nothing but the prerequisite things. Ultimately, dhyan is the only way you can attain the liberation. Okay? And how do you do what you do in the dhyan? Stabilize your mind. That's why all Tirthankar, we call it Amani Dasha, means they live only in the presence. And when you live only in the presence, mind disappears. Okay? So doctrine tend to be subtle, complex, and even paradoxical. Freedom to worship and to believe in a varieties of ways is predominant. Other paths are accepted as God's divine will at work. I am the only right person and others are not. That is a detrimental to our own religion. It is universal and tolerant. That's the concept of the Eastern religions. somehow people have a tendency, oh, mine, what I have is the best. Because I have it, that's why it is the best. Ultimately, it is my ego. All right. So I'm just trying to elaborate it a little bit other way, because this concept, it can be easily forgotten, okay? And you will have a tough time to repeat it again. Ascetic life.